Think we're on the air. That's how this works.
Oh.
Sure, I've never done this before. It's not like I do this once a week, twice a week. Shorter intro, so I gotta kind of hype myself up a little faster.
Uh-oh.
Actually have everything ready to fire off on it. Did you actually bring a problem this week, Ayrton, or or are we just winging it?
I did.
Did?
No, I did.
We did talk about it, so.
I thought about it.
I thought about it about 20 minutes ago and pulled something out of my ass.
No. No, stop the damn intro music. We're gonna get the show started.
Oh no, we're not there yet. I haven't even done the intro yet. I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna start giving me shit.
Yeah.
Show hasn't officially started yet.
It's what I pay for. It's what I pay myself for.
No, it's busy like for the first half of my day at work, like super busy. Then just got dead, and I was sitting there, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot to come up with a problem. And then I sat there on my lunch break and came up with a problem. So I am prepared.
Probably let the Discord know we're actually streaming. Oh, I can hear myself. What was that all about?
Holy echo, Batman. I have no idea.
Hello and welcome to the biggest problem in the multiverse. I am your host, The Church of Failure. With me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Ayrton McCartney, and we are here, the only show on the internet to discuss all the problems in comics, A to Z, as in Ace the Bat Dog to Zatanna. How's everybody doing this week?
Tired.
It's going, man. It's going.
We actually have a special guest in the virtual studio today. Julius, introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Julius Freeman. How's everyone doing tonight?
That was... Man, I gotta teach you how to get hype. I think that's gonna be my personal mission in life, is to teach this man how to get hype. My name's Julius Freeman. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. It's not like I'm writing a comic book called Ghetto Dragon, which really enticed the Church of Failure on Drew's show last week. And he said, man, if there's no Bruce Leroy references in there, come on, dog. Our guest Julius Freeman this week is the writer of the upcoming book, The Ghetto Dragon. You'll find the link for that book in the description of this video, and we will be talking more about it later on in the show. How are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. I'm doing fucking pretty good. I'm getting a little buzz going with my Jack Daniels here, and I'm ready to start this show and just enjoy the ride.
You know, as much as I love whiskey, I can't do Jack Daniels. It's the charcoal. I can't do the charcoal. Evan Williams, Jack Daniels.
I can do. I don't mind the charcoal as much. I kind of like it.
I'm a Kentucky bourbon man. I like a little sweet with my my ethanol.
You know what? Kentucky bourbon is pretty fucking good too. I should have gone that tonight, but I went safe. I took the safe route and got Jack Daniels.
No adventure. I understand. No adventure.
Yeah. Don't you tell from my introduction, man? I'm pretty bland. I'm like, I played safe. Can't you tell?
Well, here on the show, as I said in the intro, this is the show where we discuss all the problems in and about comic books from A to Z. I actually am coming with a pretty big problem this week. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about last week's problems. Because our audience,
but between the two of us, because that's the only part of the poll that matters. Who won that poll?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling that it was tied because I can't vote for my own choice. I'm not really.
Oh no, it wasn't tied.
I'm thinking it was. If I could have voted for bad adaptations, I'm pretty sure it would have been a tie between us. But actually, the winner last week was bad feminist marketing.
Well, that deserves a win.
It does. It does. I didn't really get to go into my diatribe about girl comics back in the day, but that really is a big problem. Alan Moore copycat cunts came in second place. Bad adaptations came in third,
straight.
and sidekicks really isn't much of a problem according to our audience. So I'm not really sure what to think about that. Maybe I need to bring that one back and argue it a little bit better later. I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made for sidekicks, but yeah, bad feminist marketing is where we are last week. So congratulations. I forget who brought that in.
And I can agree with that.
It wasn't Rune Knight. Who was it that brought that in?
It wasn't Rune Knight?
I don't think it was Rune Knight. I think Rune Knight brought in sidekick. No, you're right. I think it was Rune Knight.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll have to go back and check.
I think so. I don't know. I can barely even remember last week.
We did drink a lot.
We always drink a lot. What are you talking about?
Gonna say, get ready for a repeat, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I actually brought a really big problem to the table this week.
How big is it in
huge.
Centimeters?
A huge problem. All the centimeters. Huge.
Okay.
All the centimeters. My problem this week is not about comic books in general, but it is involving the comic medium. Cinematic universes. My problem this week.
You fucker. I was saving that for next week.
Cinematic universes is my problem. I don't know how to say it. I think that the idea of and let me be clear here. Let me be clear. There's not a problem with every cinematic universe per se, but the fact is, and this could even go further. You might actually still be able to make your argument. The more I think about cinematic universes, I think my actual
the more
problem.
You realize it's a dog shit problem.
No. The more I realize that it's actually a faucet of a much larger problem, and that is the fact that everything anyone in the comic industry does gets copied to death. So you had the variant cover explosion in the 90s that became a problem because everybody started doing it. You had the number one problem. I mean, there's a lot of problems that kind of, but I think I will argue cinematic universe. But Marvel came out with their cinematic universe by connecting the Hulk and Iron Man movies in the early 2000s. And since then, DC has tried to copy it, even though they've always been better at singular universe movies. Like, you didn't have to have a Superman movie where Batman existed so the two interacted. And if you didn't do that, then we would have never gotten Batman v Superman.
Know that name?
Martha! But you never would have gotten that.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah, you never would have gotten that dog shit movie if it wasn't for the fact that DC felt they had to make it. You know what else you wouldn't have gotten?
I actually kind of like Batman Superman.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming.
I actually kind of liked it.
I appreciate you coming on the show, Julius. It was great having you. Check out Ghetto Dragon. I know you got to get out of here, buddy. I don't. I don't want to keep you too long.
Make sure to sign up to the pre-launch before you go. Okay, make sure to sign up to the pre-launch, guys. All right, woo.
I'm kidding. Kidding.
Make sure the door doesn't hit your ass on the way out.
That's right. It's okay to be wrong. That's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind having. I let Aaron on the show every week.
This is a debate, isn't it?
True.
So I'll wait until you have you finish your argument, and I'll give you my points as to why I liked it. But go ahead. Go ahead.
And I will actually back you up there because my guilty pleasure in cinematic universes is the Shyamalan trilogy with Unbreakable just because I thought it was a ballsy move, but it still led to a couple of shit movies that they just barely connected to say, "Oh, look, we've got a cinematic universe too." And it just
you're right.
It spawns so.
It's like the movies. It's like the movies are sitting there, at all of us comic book fans, going like, "Look at me, Mom. Am I doing a good job too?" After Marvel did, and you're just like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and you pat him on the head and give him a cookie,
right?
And then start day drinking.
That's just Tuesday for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
But it just seems like after, the initial Avengers cinematic universe, X-Men had to do it, DC Comics had to do it, and look at the dog shit fucking combination of the X-Men movies, the way that they tried to loop those together. God's sake. Like, because of cinematic universes, we now have an interesting situation where technically there are two different Deadpools that are technically part of the fucking Avengers cinematic universe. Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Let's just contemplate that. If that's not enough to fucking make my problem a real problem, I can't help you guys. But and then you have the problem of the television shows in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is Blade part of the cinematic universe? We don't know, but it was a Marvel film.
I think they announced it before the COVID that they were going to do a Blade movie.
But is the old Blade?
I forgot the guy.
Part of the cinematic.
No, he's talking the original Blade movie.
No, I think they're gonna revamp him. I don't know the actor. I don't know the actor's name. He played in I think it was Alita. He was the bad guy in Alita.
Yeah.
A Battle Angel. I don't know his name, but I think he's supposed to play Blade.
Now,
what guy from Alita?
The villain, the bad guy. Not the one in the end where Edward Norton shows up. The other dude, I don't know his name. The black dude.
The dude in the office that
stabs
through the chest. Oh.
Yeah. That guy. Yeah. He's playing Blade.
Now,
well, last I heard, he was playing Blade.
I could see that.
I don't want to misrepresent cinematic universes and make it seem like they only came about with the advent of comic books. Universal Monsters had a cinematic universe back in the 30s. Godzilla has always been an interconnected series, but the thing is, like, they really kind of became a problem after the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because without the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think that M. Night Shyamalan would have ever said, 10 years later, I'm going to make a movie that connects to Unbreakable. DC never would have said, "Oh, well, I've got to now link all of my movies together instead of actually making good movies." Hold up. It just it bothers me. Because I think it even speaks to a larger problem in comics is trying to link your entire line together. Like, every comic in Marvel Comics shouldn't have to exist beside Captain America. Every comic in DC Comics shouldn't have to exist in a world where Superman lives. You shouldn't have to go over to an imprint off of your main line just to tell a story that doesn't have the caveat of Superman being able to swoop in and fuck everything up. I mean, is that outlandish? Is there something like? Is that crazy? I think
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Oh,
Church,
please.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one because that's the reason why I started reading comic books, because of the crossovers. And crossovers has been a staple for comics, well, since when they did the Secret Wars back in the 70s under what's his face,
I'm not the
Jim
first one to
Shooter.
say it this episode. Woo!
What are you talking about?
Ayrton, go ahead and tell him.
Do I have to?
You do.
Did I bring something up that is a big no-no in your show or something?
No.
It's too much of a thing on our show.
Yeah, I've got a chubby right now. Go ahead and tell him why, Ayrton.
Church got the entire run tattooed on his cock when he was 16. So that's kind of what's going on right there.
Ah.
I've been a
Wait,
big fan
seriously?
of the Secret Wars series since the 80s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, see,
And Secret
now,
Wars comes up at least
that-
once
like the
per
re-
episode, but it wasn't me this time.
hey, oh, you know what? It's a great fucking series, and I think if you are truly a comic book reader and you want to be a true fan, or if you're a student of the game, meaning you want to write your comics, it's important to understand the significance of that book because that was the first of its kind. That's what pretty much made it into a thing in not just in Marvel but DC as well because it sold a lot of fucking books.
Right.
The bottom line is money. That's the bottom line, and the reason why DC jumped the gun for the shared universe is because it made the fucking Marvel movies made a shitload of money because the fans liked the fact that they stayed behind after the fucking credits and they wanted to see the preview or the little sneak preview of the next movie or like a little scene of the next movie, and that's a comic book trope. That's something that they transferred from comics to the movies.
I'll bring in after credit scenes eventually. Those are a huge fucking problem. I'm ready to get the fuck out.
Now they are, now they are, but back then they were cool. I'll admit I fucking was one of the fucking idiots who stand and be like, oh no, I can't wait to watch the end of those things so I can see what's gonna happen next.
But
I always stayed for the end credits too.
And let me
I think we're all guilty of that. At some point in our lives growing up.
It was fun.
Let me clarify though. I have no problem with crossovers. I'm not saying that some of the titles in a Marvel or a DC universe can have a crossover, semi-shared universe type situation. But maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have to put Elseworlds on your book to tell a story. Maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have to create an offshoot universe to tell something outside of the mainstream.
Well, you know why they do that, right?
Because they have these canon Bibles because they've been doing the same thing since the 40s.
Yeah, because they're selling books and they don't want the
Are they selling books still?
I'm looking. No, not anymore. Not anymore. They're not selling books anymore. But back then, you would imagine the consumers, right? Because you have to look at it through the eyes of someone who wants to make money. So the consumers don't like that these characters who are beloved to go, fucking do something out of the ordinary. So that's why they created that other Elseworlds line, so that way they could do that. And right. I thought it was a good idea. I still think it's a good idea, and I still think they should do that. Just that way, the mainstream stuff can stay intact the way it is, and then maybe shake it up every once in a while, so that way it stays fresh as the years go by.
We're getting a little bit off topic, but I do have one further point to make on that, and then we can actually go back to cinematic universes. But
sure.
Here's the problem: when you don't put a tag like Elseworlds on it, even though we can all agree that we understand that the Killing Joke was never supposed to be canon, right?
Right.
Like, okay, the Killing Joke was never supposed to be canon, but because people can't get the idea that everything that happens under the DC banner is a DC canon thing, you now have a situation where we've had in the last 20 years a crippled Barbara Gordon back to a leg functioning Barbara Gordon. Oracle had like a 15-year stint as a character, and now she's Batgirl again. It just leads to a lot of issues where if say my sister decides she's going to start reading Batgirl, and she's flipping through a long box and she finds a Batgirl comic from the mid-90s, and it's an Oracle book, or it's a Cassandra Cain Batman book, and she's looking at it, and then she gets her Batgirl from the pull list, and it's a completely different character, and now Oracle can fucking walk again. So now she's got to either do all of this research to go back and understand why this character couldn't walk in the first place. Then she gets to the Killing Joke and reads a non-canonical story where the Joker supposedly died at the end. But the Joker's still running around, and now there's fucking 3 of them. Fucking canon is a goddamn... Making me mad. Not even 20 minutes in, I'm already fucking turning red in the face. I'm fucking sweating over here.
There you go. There you go. So
Good.
that could be a topic for the next episode. That very thing that you just mentioned.
But no,
So
that's what I'm
going
saying.
back to
Like,
the cinematic
but
to
it's
the
all
cinematic universe, then
yes. Going back to that.
yes.
Go ahead.
I like it. I am a big fan of that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having something like that. But I do agree with you on the part that it is has become tiresome at this point because, as you know, Hollywood, when they get their dirty little hands on shit and it makes fucking money, they're just gonna copy, control copy and control paste. So that way, because they think, oh, it's automatically gonna make us money, so they just keep doing that shit. And
Right.
that's the problem. That yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
And
That's the only problem that I have with it anyway.
yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. Like, cinematic shared universes, they're more of a problem than they're a solution, I think, because again, you can pull it off successfully, but when it comes down to just trying to do it to pull in that audience, it's like, oh well, I saw that movie, I guess I need to go see this one. It's horse
So,
shit. It's fucking stupid, and
Yeah,
people should feel
I
bad
agree
for
with that.
themselves.
so maybe it sounds more like your problem isn't not necessarily cinematic universes, but like publisher or brand entirety universes.
No, it's cinematic universes this
No,
week strictly for
like
the fact.
specifically just cinematic.
Yeah, because the thing is they're trying
in
to do it
general,
all
right? In
over the
general,
place. Well, they're trying to do it all over the place, like modern cinematic universe. Say.
right? Yeah.
The idea that they've become so overplayed, and it just seems ridiculous to me that they have to have a shared universe for fucking everything. Like, oh well, this story connects to this one, and these characters are the universal shared universe, blah blah blah. It just makes me. It gives me fucking hives. Like, just tell good stories, make good movies, and stop raping my properties
That
just to
that
make a
might be
buck.
scurvy. You might need some vitamin C.
Well, it also might be fucking herpes. I don't know.
You gonna flare up? Is that what's going on?
Maybe, maybe. Sorry, I'm still mad about fucking Batgirl. I fucking worked myself up over goddamn Batgirl, and now I'm just pissed.
So you're probably
Hey man, I can't blame you.
You
You
hate
know,
women.
continuity has
You're
always been a big
sexist.
problem in
That's what you're
comics.
saying.
Yeah, it's always been the problem in comics. Continuity has always been a huge problem. I mean, they brought back fucking Bucky for fuck's sake. I mean, he
Yeah.
was supposed to be dead, the only character that remained dead, but they found a way to bring him back. And honestly, I thought it was fucking cool.
Pop quiz. What's the longest standing death in comic books? That
I'm
has
gonna
been
say-
revived. That's been revived.
I'm gonna say
Barry
Gwen.
Allen. I'm gonna say Barry Allen.
Barry Allen. 18 years.
Ooh.
Barry Allen stayed dead.
I didn't, see, I didn't get that one. Wow. And he's still dead, or they brought him back.
No, they brought him back.
Oh, they eventually bring him back. Wow,
Yeah,
what a
they
shame.
brought him. Yeah, they brought him back in New 52, I think, or 52,
Yeah.
one or the
I
other.
see.
They brought him back before Blackest Night.
I think it's at like isn't it the end of 52 or something like that? Like it's at like an awkward point.
I don't know exactly when it
In
happened,
these,
but I know it was an 8. Barry Allen was gone, and it seemed like his death actually meant something. Save the fucking universe during Crisis on. No,
Right.
no. 18 years later, they're like, no, we got to sell more Barry Allen books. Look how well the Flash TV show is doing. It's so good. And this is the old sci-fi Flash TV show where the guy that plays Grant Gustin's dad was the Flash. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I do remember
I
that.
love that shit.
Yeah, that was the best Flash show. Shit, what anybody says, Grant Gustin suck a fat one. Anyway,
This wobbly head.
cinematic universes, they're entirely too prominent. People are abusing the idea, and now everything has to be in a shared universe, or it always has to be a multi-connecting movie franchise, and everything has to loop
You
back
mean like
together.
a multiverse?
No, I mean, multiverses are a huge
You
fucking
know, as
problem.
long as
Shows with the
for
name
me,
on
for me,
But go ahead.
for me, as long as they get it right, I'm okay with it. As long as they do it within the context of the story, I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it too much as
Well,
you
that's what I
do.
said at the very beginning. That's what I said at the very beginning. Marvel did it right, and now everyone's just
Yeah.
jacking off of them.
Yeah, everyone just jumped on the bandwagon because they made a lot of money. But the fact is, Marvel did it right because they had a guy who was working in those movies who understood comic books, and that's why it worked because he was able to transfer that to the movies and do it, relatively well.
I don't.
I don't know where he's going.
No, it just. Oh no, I had a sweatshirt on. I had to take the sweatshirt off. It was getting too hot here. The actuals.
Damn, man, you really are getting angry, aren't you?
Yeah, I told you I'm fucking sweating over here. Fucking making me mad. I've got the liquor sweats already.
So
I've only had 2 drinks.
The point of this show is to try and piss Church off, essentially. Is what we do here.
You don't have to try very hard.
Good to know.
I come in mad anyway.
Let me have a few more of these Jack Daniel drinks, and I'll start poking at the bear here.
All right.
So
does our esteemed guest have his problem sorted, or am I going next?
Well, first off, before we go into another problem, I do want to bring up the mailing list for Ghetto Dragon, and probably go ahead and rehash some of my
big plug in there.
Yeah, probably rehash some of my jokes from earlier in the week. So tell us about Ghetto Dragon.
So Ghetto Dragon is a fucking martial arts comic book that involves a young guy who stands up to a bunch of gangsters who are trying to kidnap a young girl, and he just fucking straight up goes over there and just beats the shit out of them and then saves them. And the gang is like, this motherfucker got involved in our shit, so he tells the gang to do something about it. It fails because it turns out our hero is a fucking badass motherfucker who knows Jeet Kune Do and will break your fucking arm if need be just to end the fight as quick as possible. And when that happens, that's when the gangster's like, oh shit, this guy's actually pretty damn tough. So then he goes after his family and pretty much attacks his family, fucking sends them all to the hospital to send a message. And that's when our hero decides, all right, I'm going to fucking go back and I'm going to try to take you guys down piece by piece. And that's where the story takes off. Ghetto Dragon, no good deed. That's where the no good deed saying comes from. How far do you take it when you do a good deed by saving the young girl being kidnapped? Like, well, how much do you have to pay for your punishment for doing such a good deed?
Right.
And
no good deed
the
goes
story
unpunished.
has a bunch of action. Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. And has a bunch of action in the first book. Not a bunch of action, a little bit of action. But it's mainly just to keep the story going. Book 2 is where the fucking shit goes down. So hopefully you guys come back for book 2. But book 1 has a good amount of action and a nice drama and a good flow. So sign up, make it happen. Hopefully, you guys, if you guys do make it happen, the campaign so far, what I have at the moment, it's going to be a flexible goal. So even if I don't meet the goal, you'll still get your book. That's what I'm trying to get it to at the moment. So that way, everyone can still get their book and still get their hands on it, and it'll be, hopefully, we'll come back for book 2. Was that good enough, Church, or was that I still need to work on the hype?
That was better.
Work on the hype.
That was better, but yeah, you still got to work on the hype. Oh, last week
Okay,
he's just
all
like,
right, cool.
it's okay, the art's okay, and I'm just like, motherfucker, the art is fantastic. You have to talk about how great this art is. This is the best art you've ever seen in the comic book.
Now that you remind me, yes, the art is fantastic. It's drawn by an artist named Alan Fletcher. He's from Sweden. And he's a big, huge Bruce Lee fan, which is the reason why he took on the project, because of the very fact that I'm paying homage to Bruce Lee and the Hong Kong martial arts movie. So he fucking delivered it as that's more and more pages he started drawing. It started coming out a fucking whole lot better. Because in the beginning, I'll admit, in the beginning it was a little, we still couldn't find our groove there in the beginning, the first few pages. But then after that second chapter, that's when he found his groove and off to the fucking races he went.
Now, Ayrton, I'm going to give you one chance before I start in with the jokes. What movie does this remind you of?
You asking me?
No, I'm asking Ayrton.
Okay.
He might not know. It's an early '80s or late 80s, early 90s movie in the kung fu genre.
Oh, I was thinking
The
Kung
black
Fury.
exploitation film.
Oh, fuck.
You-
The Last Dragon,
I'm gonna-
motherfucker. I told him he's got to work a glow into the main character and rename the main gang leader Shonuff. You have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm the old one in the group right now, aren't I?
Don't feel bad. So am I.
I know of the movie. I haven't watched it.
All right, well that's the next
Oh,
watch
bro,
party.
you're missing out.
That's the next watch
You're
party.
missing
in the
out,
Discord.
man. It's the greatest. It's the greatest piece of cheese you're ever gonna have in your life. The Last Dragon.
Do I have a DVD port on this computer? We might watch that after the show tonight. Yeah, we
Oh,
gotta
that'd be
watch.
great.
We gotta watch The Last Dragon, Eric. I'm sorry, required
Okay.
viewing. But anyway, no,
That's fine.
it reminded me a lot of The Last Dragon, and I immediately took interest in it because I really love that cheesy kung fu shit where it's got some comedy, it's got some action, it's got some suspense, and it's got a whole lot of ridiculousness and incredible martial arts.
Ooh,
And-
what a
and my
fucking
Yeah.
segue.
And my man actually does know about Jeet Kune Do, which is huge because most people who like Bruce Lee don't remember that he actually patented a martial art named Jeet Kune Do.
Exactly.
He didn't. It's more or less like a compendium of different forms from various martial arts that he put together in a book,
Well,
more or less.
if
Yeah, he
if he-
did. But
if he
it-
was
it
still
eventually-
alive, would you argue with him about it? That's the question. If he was still alive, would you say that to him? Or would you say, good job, Mr. Lee? Please don't
Bruce
one-inch
Lee
punch
was
me
a-
to death.
Bruce Lee was 120 pounds soaking wet and 5'4",
And could one-inch
could
punch you
take
with
him
like
on
five...
church.
It was fucking one-inch punch that put like 500 pounds of force behind it and crushed rib cages. No thank you.
No, that's not a thing. That's not how the human body works.
Shh. Tell Bruce Lee that because he does it to people. Shut up.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He
I
took
don't know.
He took on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
A fighter took on a basketball player.
Yup. Anyway.
I'm just saying, Bruce Lee was a brilliant theorist, but he
Oh no, my friend. No, my friend. He was not. He was the real deal. He was the real deal.
Jeet Kune Do is
I
better
wanna
than
keep
Wing Chun.
arguing, but it's gonna annoy church.
I mean, isn't that what you're here for? Don't you have a problem or something? Don't you have like?
I
Do you have something to contribute to the show, or are you just here to fucking piss me off like you?
I mean, yes, both of those things. And
What do
Red
we
Knight's
got?
in the waiting room, by the way. I don't
Well,
know
bring
why
him
he's
in.
just jumping in here.
Bring him in. Let's rib him for not just getting in the show.
I will. Let's see. Move. Rune Knight, just get your ass in the damn show, chat.
Yeah,
I don't just jump in the show chat.
I
It's
gave you
rude and
permission to
it's
do
not
it. You have permission to just get in the show. Like that's the whole point of you having those permissions.
Yeah, Rune, come on, man.
Hey,
Get in the show.
Hey.
Like that. Somebody mute the
Why am
stream.
I
Whoever's
hearing the
listening to
stream
the
in the
stream,
background?
mute it.
hey, my beloved smother, who I did nothing but agitate all day because I won't give her cigarettes, taught me better.
Whoever's playing the stream in the background, mute it.
It ain't me.
That ain't me either.
Nope, it was me. My beloved smother, who taught me better, told me to be polite, even though I have been withholding her cigarettes all day.
It's been established that it's polite to just get in the show and not make us work any harder than we already have to.
Yeah, I had to
Well,
press
if I-
2 whole buttons.
So what you're saying is, in fact, I have to
That's
make
rude.
you work less than none.
Right.
You're making
Yes.
me do extra work
Okay.
by pressing 2 whole buttons to
I'm-
move you in here.
I'm trying to set it up to where I get paid to do nothing.
We now live in a Jetsons future. I am a cruel person for making you push a button.
2
I am now
buttons.
Space Sprockets.
No, 3 buttons. I had to click on your name, then I had to click move to, then I had to click show chat. I had to press 3 whole buttons. God damn it!
So pressing buttons is
novel.
pressing buttons is their problem this week.
How this works. Okay, just, my problem this week. All right.
I wanted to ask a question for Mr. Freeman real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, since you apparently are knowledgeable in Jeet Kune Do, I'm actually really curious. What's your opinion of the direction that the art has gone since Bruce Lee's passing? Because I watched a couple of reviews, some commentaries, that inferred that it's got really deep into not just mixed martial arts, which is in keeping with the philosophy, but a serious influx of like capoeira and South Seas Asian knife arts, right? And there's actually like a schismatic between people that really want to keep with his original ideology and sort of a new all-encompassing, like everything is good, we'll just take everybody's stuff, where there's a disconnect about whether or not it's combat applicable.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. The thing about Jeet Kune Do that I like, that I identify with the most, is the whole notion of style with no style. Adapting to new styles that come about, because Bruce Lee understood that human expression is always fluid. It's always going to change. It's always going to evolve as time goes on, because new information, new things always come about. And so with him, it was always Jeet Kune Do was strictly a style for the combat fighter, meaning the street fighter, because there is no honor, as you know, in street fighting. When you're in a street fight, anything fucking goes. There's no honor, and there's no, okay, guys, you can't scratch, you can't bite. It's anything fucking goes.
Right.
And so,
I mean, you run the risk of being called a bitch, but
yeah, but it doesn't matter, because you're, in the end of the day, you're gonna fucking, this motherfucker might try to kill me, so I'm gonna do my best to take him down first before he takes me down. And so I don't see a problem.
Fingers are gouging,
See, Novel Bro knows
on how deep their fingers are gouging,
Novel Bro knows. He just gets in the show. He doesn't even ask. I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah, I know. I was saying, who's this guy? I was like, who's
that's our resident Scottish shit poster.
Oh, nice. And so I don't really mind that. I think that's a good thing, that things keep changing, and as long as the core, the essence of it, meaning it's okay to adapt to new styles, and if you want to take from these little certain little other styles that are popping up, then that's okay too. That's all good. In my opinion.
I think I can't be 100%. My memory is not that perfect, but I think what it was is I caught a clip of Rogan, and he was inferring that Jeet Kune Do was not as good as, or Bruce Lee was not as good as people assert. And
let me just build that up. Hold on.
Well, okay.
What? Y'all missed the fucking reference? My fucking god!
I'm a square. It's true. The thing is I will certainly give room for, like, Bruce Lee has a mystique that might be greater than the man, but I still think he was boss. The thing is that I believe Joe Rogan was inferring not only was that Bruce Lee's art wasn't as good as people think, but that in the time since his passing, it had picked up a bunch of artifacts that were not in keeping with the theory, and that, like, regular jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or anybody who did MMA, like in the cage, would utterly wreck somebody using Jeet Kune Do, because Jeet Kune Do was basically a show art. And that can't be true, but, like, I'm not deep enough in the martial arts community to say one way or the other.
I will say
that's why I was curious.
I will say that with Jeet Kune Do, you never hear that mentioned when you hear about an MMA fighter's rep.
Yeah, because MMA, they're trained to fight in the cage with rules, and Jeet Kune Do is a style that involves no rules. It's essentially it's a defense martial arts for the real world. When you're out and about and someone wants to kick your ass for whatever reason, then Jeet Kune Do is meant to disable your opponent as fast as possible. It's not meant for, like, 3 rounds of fucking MMA boxing and UFC. It's meant to be like, okay, this motherfucker's gonna take me down. I'm gonna take him down first, and I'm gonna do it however way I can. Break his arm, you know.
Before we turn this into the all martial arts show, though, gotta let Ayrton get that problem, guys.
All right, my problem.
The Fight or Flight Sports Channel.
And you know what? If you want to learn more about that philosophy, pick up the Ghetto Dragon on Indiegogo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sign up.
See?
There's a
I like that segue. I like that.
So my problem this week is a lack of skate men in comic books.
Oh, okay,
And
all right.
What I mean by that is I'm using skate man as kind of a trope.
Before you go too far into that, everybody,
Okay.
I know Novel Bro knows about Skate Man. Room Night, Julie, do you guys know about Skate Man?
I in fact do not. I need a definition.
Okay.
Wow.
What about you, Julius?
I'm looking it up right now. Was it drawn by and produced by Neil Adams?
It is the worst comic ever made. Yes.
But Neil Adams.
No.
But did Neil Adams
Greatest
produce
comic
this?
ever made.
Wait, worse than White Ninja?
It's debatable, but Skate Man, in my opinion, is probably the worst comic ever. And yes, it is a Neil Adams book.
The best.
Oh my
Church,
God,
when
that's so
we
great.
Do a live show from a Comic-Con, I'm going to cosplay as Skate Man with the really short jean cutoff shorts,
Good.
just to piss you off.
Good.
Oh wow! I'm looking at the images right now. Oh my God,
Isn't
this
this
is so
fantastic?
great.
Yeah.
This is so great. Oh my God, I want this now.
So why is
I hope you go to all the effort to make it look
I
as
hate-
supremely close to the original character.
Oh,
as
I hate
possible.
all of you
I'm gonna
so
go
much.
all out.
I hate all of you so fucking much.
That's
Why
why I love coming out to this show.
why is the
It's
lack of
so
Skate Man
chaotic.
actually a problem, Ayrton?
So skate men, I pluralize it on purpose because we had all these great, ridiculous characters: Skate Man, Kite Man, Arm Fall Off Boy.
I follow
you know,
Kite
just
Man on Twitter.
Just all these ridiculous comic book characters that were just fun, over the top, goofy. You know, you had a good time reading it. I know you say that the Skate Man book was the worst book ever, but we enjoyed the hell out of it when we reviewed it, however long ago that was, last fall, I think.
Yeah.
And there is a lack of that in comics today. They're all so serious and, brooding, and I'm going to stare out a window all seriously while it rains in front of me and a candle flickers in the background.
Right.
And there's dramatic music. And it's just tiring. I want ridiculous, goofy shit.
That sounds to me like deconstructionism is a bigger problem in comics.
No.
Well, see, here's the thing. I know where you're coming from, but at the same time, I would be on the opposite end of that spectrum because what I hate, I don't know if it's the biggest problem in comics, but what I hate is false positivity. Right?
Oh, there was nothing positive about Skate Man.
No.
Nothing positive.
No. What I mean is, like, when I've talked before about that crazy jetpack Hitler trend, where we're just going to throw all the ridiculous tropes in the bin and shake them up and make something stupid, and then say,
Yes.
"But look, it's fun." It's like, that's not fun because it lacks authenticity. That's trying to jerk me off and making me pay you for it.
But if
Wait, you don't have to pay? Hold on, we gotta circle back to this. I mean, how do you not pay?
No. I've already had a run-in with a hooker today.
Wait,
We
what?
don't need to talk about hookers anymore.
No, we do. We need to talk about you having a run-in with a hooker, please. Tell me more.
Did you guys not see that in the Discord?
No, man.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I've been doing the swiping shit on the Tinder and whatnot, and getting matched with this chick, and she starts texting me like, "Hey, you looking for a hookup or something?" I was like, "Well, duh."
I'm on Tinder.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, where do you live?" We do all that bullshit, and she's like, "Well, so a hookup, $150 and half up front, and half when we're done." And I'm like, "Bitch, the fuck are you on about?" So I decided to fuck with her, and I offered her a case of White Claws and a pack of cigarettes instead of $150.
You better be careful with that shit. She might take you up on that.
She did, And then I told her I had all of my money in either solid gold or Bitcoin. And then she told me she did accept Bitcoin. And I was like, well, fuck. I'm out of ideas how to fuck with her. So I just blocked her.
Wow.
And then after I blocked her, I thought about saying, like, man, you're not hot enough to charge $150. But, I'd already blocked her at that point. Anyways, back to...
Well, there is one more point. Having said that my thing is I don't like the false narrative, the false fun. I want real fun, and if Skateman is real fun, that's great. I also have to say no. Skateman is horrible because a search for Skateman led me to this link. The fuck?
Wait, where is this?
Yeah.
Problem one. Why is Harley Quinn, known criminal villainess, in doing roller derby? Problem two. Why the fuck is she wearing a helmet? It's Harley Quinn. She doesn't wear a helmet.
No, do you not realize that in the last 20 years or in the last 10 years they've tried to turn Harley Quinn into Tank Girl?
No, I know they have, but the thing is that Tank Girl wouldn't wear a helmet. She only wears an army helmet, ironically, because she has a tank.
Well, I'm just saying, they try to turn her into roller derby Tank Girl. Harley Quinn and the Gang of Harleys was a lot of fun, but it was also very ridiculous for Harley Quinn. It would have been a great Tank Girl.
It's just a thing that bothers me. It's just a thing that bothers me because my brain says, if you're a character who is defined by your defiance of social norms, the idea that you would stop in your villainy to put on your arm pads and knee pads and your helmet, kids, because you got to be safe, is fucking stupid.
All right, but now, why is the lack of Skateman a problem?
I need to hold on. I need to argue with Rune Knight a bit.
Oh God. Okay. We're never gonna finish the show, guys.
No, we're not. So
vigorously pours in the background.
Forcing, I agree with you that forcing ridiculousness and stuff like that, like Harley Quinn, like the lol so random stuff in comics is stupid, and I hate that. But when it's legitimately just a ridiculous idea some dickhead with a sarcastic sense of humor came up with, I mean, it's no secret on the show that we're very friendly with Don Chen.
I was going to say, I'm waiting very patiently to completely rebut your point using Don Chen and Parody Press's revival.
Well, and I was getting to that because it's not revived yet. This problem will be totally moot next year. But I mean, when you have somebody who seriously loves writing ridiculous stuff because they find it enjoyable, to me that's way more fun. It's like the Monty Python of comic books. Just coming up with ridiculous shit because you think it's funny is way more entertaining than the whole brooding I'm gonna pout in the rain or the lol so random humor they try and put in comic books.
I'm perfectly down. I'm just saying that what I would not want is a world where you get what you want and we have more Skateman, but it's also a false Skateman. I think the argument could be made that because it is rare or because it is rarefied, it's better, and overexposure would cheapen.
No, but we haven't gotten any since
False. And this is why. And I'm going to meet both of you in the middle here. Ayrton, you're completely and utterly right on one side of the coin. On the mainstream side of the coin, Marvel, DC stuff, their also random titles, their fun quote-unquote titles are all bullshit. However, in doing this show for the last year, you have the audacity to bring that up when our main focus on the Gospel of Comics is to find ridiculous and fun shit to review. Mostly without fish penises. That's the caveat we had to add.
Alan fucking no.
I hate you so much. Last week was supposed to be the last time that fucking shit ever came back up, and you had to bring it up again.
But think about it. How many just completely... How many fun stories have we read? How many Trump Space Forces have we discovered? Just in doing this show that were just a lot of fun and just really enjoyable, and creators have been doing it in Comicsgate too. We've talked about a lot of books with really fun premises.
We have, but they don't get the attention and exposure that they should for being as brilliant as they are.
Well, that just means that I'm right every week when I tell people that they vote wrong because, nobody has good taste but us.
Well, I mean,
Wait, did you just say I have good taste?
No,
Somebody
not-
flip that out right
Yeah,
now.
fuck me. I'm going to delete the stream.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words. Yeah, I think I do have pretty good taste myself. If I may say so myself.
I'm
Motherfuckers
over
over
here
there.
trying to talk about. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just, I'm over here. I'm trying to talk about how, like, well, we don't want false fun, but I have to freely admit, full disclosure, I'm working on a script for a comic about a werewolf luchador.
See?
Of course.
Right. Suck it.
Chew. Let's talk about Chew for a minute. How much fucking fun was Chew?
I win.
How much fucking fun was Chew?
It was pretty fucking fun. Yeah, those first few issues that I read were pretty fucking fun.
We did
Like,
the
that
whole
was a very
series.
refreshing comic
We
book to read.
reviewed the entire series on this show.
Wow, you're brave.
Well, no, we didn't. I read the whole series. We reviewed Volume 1.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing is
I was
really
about to say,
fun, and
damn.
it's a great concept. Well, the last full series I think we reviewed was what? Lock and Key? And that was really, really dramatic and serious, but it also was fun.
No, the hamsters. We did the last review of the hamsters.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. That was like 20 issues. Lock and Key was over 100.
You know which comic I read that was a lot of fun too was Orkstain. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Orkstain by
I know Orkstain.
James.
I actually,
Takoi, I think
and
his name is.
this is going to get me a little bit of backlash because of my feminism, but Rat Queens. Rat Queens is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's written by
I
a
never
very
read that one, but I heard good things about that book.
Now the
I am very
sequel,
divided on Rat Queens.
the sequel is not as good, but the original run of Rat Queens is a lot of fun. Just because it's a female cast didn't bother me. It was really only the writer and artist's like political opinions that I had problems with, but they didn't let it leak too hard into their story.
That's probably the thing. I probably read Rat Queens both 1 and 2 in their entirety in one sitting, and that's why I have a conflicted opinion because I liked the start of it, and it just got worse and worse and
Right.
Okay, so I'll give you Chew, Church. I'll give you that one because that one slipped my mind. But was like Rat Queens, because I didn't read that one, was that like ridiculous over the top fun, or was it just kind of in a general sort of like this is a fun story?
It was a D&D story written about female D&D characters, basically. That were rats.
It's got it has some fun in the sense that if you're a serious game nerd like me, there are tropes that are seen as sacred cows that it totally subverts in a fun way.
Right.
In particular, the girl dwarf.
It wasn't ridiculous, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, it wasn't over the top ridiculous.
Yeah, like Chew's kind of over the top ridiculous.
Yeah,
and again, I'll give you that because
absolutely.
I forgot about that one. When I thought of this problem.
And the thing that I've been working on, in my opinion, is about the same level of jocularity and personality as, say, Silver Age Spider-Man. So it's funny, but it's not falling out of your chair, rolling around on the ground funny.
So are you willing to say that comics taking themselves too seriously is your problem? Is that more of an idea that you, because a lack of skatement is never a fucking problem.
That's honestly now that you mention it, that is one of my problems. Is comic books taking themselves a bit too seriously. Like not everyone can be Alan Moore. Not everyone can be fucking.
That was last week's problem.
Damn, I'm a week late then. I'm a week late. Fuck.
Well, I mean, the follow-up is if a lack of Skate Man is a problem in the comics industry, I have to double down and say a lack of Snowflake is a problem in the comics industry.
Oh no! See, that's a good reason to not word it that way.
I know.
Wait. Let's let that one breathe for a second.
I gotta turn you up, Novel Bro. You're a little low. Hold on, let me turn you up.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Turn him up in the user volume. I'm gonna turn him up to about 100.
Yeah, because now I've got a new PC tower. I've got the snowball on the go. You could be able to hear me as well as you want. But anyway, as I was saying, let's just let that opinion sit and let it brew for a minute, just like this tea I'm drinking right now. Because
Okay.
we do maybe need snowflakes, because what would the world be without something to ridicule?
Oh, he's got a point there.
Yeah. Yeah, with the
That-
absence of light, there is no dark, or without the absence of darkness, there is no light.
That
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Celtic
right.
wisdom
That's
he's
true.
got over there.
But there has to be a limit to the armor in Audacity, because otherwise it gets too stupid.
Well, not really, because the more there is an enormity of it, there must be an enormity of the contrast.
That's not true, Novel Bro, and I'll tell you why. We had 7 iterations of Captain Marvel #1 without a good comic out of Marvel, with the exception of maybe a runaway run on Venom by Donny Coates.
The thing is like you've got Howard the
Logic, but backward. What started great ended better. What ended better will end great. Well, what started better will end great. And vice versa.
the thing is that you've got like a Howard the Duck, and that's great,
Mhm.
right? But then you can get something really awful, really terrible, like the most recent Squirrel Girl,
Terrible.
right? And the response is, well, but I'm just being funny. You're not.
Lol, so
If you
random.
don't land the joke, it's not funny. If you
Well,
can't,
it's not funny because a writer is not a good writer. That's why, and they don't understand humor.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's the crux of the entire problem is that when you try to be funny, you try too hard. Like you can't try to be funny.
Right.
Like, that's the thing.
Right.
You-
exactly. You either have it or you
your
don't.
desperation leaks through.
Right.
Again, that's why I'm using
Right.
that's why I'm using Skate Man as kind of like the pedestal that I'm building this problem on, because that book was hilarious.
Now, if you're going to
And
use
I
a book
loved every
to
second of it.
if you're going to use a book to crux on that, you might as well use Jurassic Force 5.
That's fine. But Skate Man,
We're
was
going to
the
do
first thing I thought.
Transformers, except we're going to do it with dinosaurs, but not like Beast Wars. Stay with me.
With the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
I don't care if you get a camera with your hands doing the fucking thing. I don't care. It must be done.
All right, so
Must it? I guess we can call my problem comics taking themselves too seriously. We can do that. I'll go along with that.
Exactly.
well that'll get you more votes because nobody on my Twitter knows what the fuck Skate Man is unless they just hate it.
Well, now they do.
Everybody should know
Now
who
they
Skate
do.
Man is.
And you know what? I'm going to do my best to spread the word of Skate Man.
You
Really
should
he deserves
always
some love.
spread the gospel of Skate Man. If you need a completely legal reader copy, let me know.
You can always use memes to pull them in. Skate Man memes. Let's make it happen.
Oh, also, I got to ask the panel a question real quick, and it has nothing to do with anything we talked about. I'm going to read a quote, and you guys tell me whether it's a quote from a Hulk story or a quote from a simp story. Okay,
Oh boy.
here goes the
All
quote.
right.
You guys ready?
And just hit the
No.
I'm
elbow.
ready.
All right. The puny human woke up in a crater in the desert. His chest was bare, his pants shredded. He couldn't remember anything. His muscles tingled and his fist ached. He knew what had happened. He'd smashed.
Right. Who? Has
That's the quote. That's the quote. Now, is that a Incredible Hulk story or is that a simp story?
I feel like this is too on the nose, and that it's a simp story.
I'm gonna guess.
You're
I'm
trying
gonna
to
guess
bait us with that one.
old Incredible Hulk story, like 60s, 70s Incredible Hulk story.
I was
Alright.
about to say
That's-
the Incredible Hulk has been fed fucking dictionaries and thesaurus. He's like, Hulk smash.
All right, Rune Knight, it's on you, buddy. What do you think?
Rune Knight said, "I'll be right back."
Okay, all right. Well, it is a Hulk story, but it reads like a fucking
Damn it.
simp story. It's the intro to Planet Hulk, the graphic audio novel. It's the first thing that's said,
Wow.
and I heard that first like blurb, and I started laughing, and I think I woke my children up.
Wow.
But,
That's
yeah,
pretty great.
He
actually.
smashed.
That's pretty great.
I thought it was way too
He
on the
realized.
nose.
He realized he smashed.
And
I
when you
thought
take
it was way too on the nose to be a Hulk story. Like it was almost too obvious.
well when you take the Hulk, the Planet Hulk story into consideration, like that is the story where the Hulk actually procreated. So he
True.
did end up smashing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're right about that. Oh, dude.
It's a good point.
Philosophical twist here.
Yeah, man, you went deep there. You went really deep there.
There we go. We're going in with the double entendres. We're already turning this into a fucking porno. Where are we going with this, man? Right.
But yeah, I heard that. I had to put a poll up on Twitter. The majority of people guessed it was a Hulk story, but Simp story came in strong with 37% of the vote. So
Oh, okay.
it could go either way, really.
It really could.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
It really could. Jeez. Holy
do
shit.
you have anything else on the lack of aloofness in comic books here?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
Besides, everybody go follow Don Chin on Twitter.
Absolutely, go follow
Get ready
Don Chin
for
on Twitter.
what's coming up in 2021. He's going to save our society from this shit ass year coming up this next year, and it's going to be wonderful.
Well,
Yes.
fucking good luck, mate.
Oh man,
Look, it wouldn't be a miracle if it wasn't difficult. That's why they're called messiahs.
That's right.
Exactly.
So does anybody else have a problem this week?
Has anybody else got a fucking problem with me?
I mean, I got problems. If you're asking, are they comic related? I don't know.
I have a problem.
Okay.
Actually, I do have a problem now that I think about it.
All right.
Go for it.
Second and third print
Oh,
runs.
this is going to be a good one. I'm going to argue like a motherfucker with you on this one. Go ahead.
All right.
I'm already
Second and
starting to
third print.
sweat.
So
I'm gonna take a nap during this one.
You're rocking on his feet like, yeah.
so
You
The
made
the
sure
problem-
damn.
the problem I have with second and third printings is that I remember when I first started collecting comics, it was
Mhm.
fun for me to hunt down certain issues that were you need to have in your
Right.
collection.
Right. Key
And
issues or
the
runs
second
or
and
whatever.
third and fourth printings, yeah, exactly. They kind of took the fun out of that, and also it kind of took away a lot of the extra income the local comic shops could have had if they had the issue, in their bins or in the back warehouse somewhere. Like, oh, I actually do have that issue. Do you want it? And you not only the overcharge it, but also just if you found it and in somewhere else it could cost $20, but then at that comic book shop it's still the same price as you would pay for it if you got it when it first came out.
I'm
And
not going to interrupt your run here, but I do want to say that I'm going to be the first. But nobody else jump in. Go ahead.
That's pretty much it. That's my gripe with the modern day comic book publishing. Not only that, but also the reprints as well. It's like I wish they would just here's the print run, guys. If you guys don't get it, we maybe might print it next year, maybe. But at the moment, you're kind of screwed. This is it. Sorry guys, this is it.
I disagree, and I disagree heavily. Now, I hear where you're going with that, and I understand the sentiment. However, when it comes to second and third printings, those don't exist for collectivity. Those exist for accessibility. You mentioned Secret
for
Wars
guys
earlier.
like me that just like to read the stories.
You mentioned Secret Wars earlier, so I feel okay bringing it up now because I mentioned it. Secret Wars number 8. The first
comes dribbling down his leg.
The first appearance of the black suit Spider-Man, right? That's the key issue.
Right.
That's the reason that number 8 is $300, while the rest of the run is like.
Correct.
If that book was $300 in every accessible format, if there wasn't a trade paperback collection of that story, if you couldn't buy that story in digital format, if you didn't have second and third and dollar legend reprints of that story, how many people would be kind of gatekept from being able to play Secret Wars and understand that a toy company could put together one of the greatest crossovers?
No, I agree with that. I agree with that, but
the
I
dark.
don't disagree with the trade paperback. I don't disagree with the trade paperback model. That's fine with me.
Well,
'Cause the
here's the
trade
thing.
paperback is
It-
all the collections together. But I'm talking about the single issue that's hot off the press.
Well, I think
And
that you're like undervaluing the idea of a collector knows that they want a mint gem for. They know they want
right,
that graded 10 in that slab from the CPC. Where somebody who just wants to read the story wants to spend $5 on a 24-page book, or $2 or a buck or whatever it costs. Um, you might get somebody who gets into it when they're 17 and 2000 and goes back and collects the original issues because they have to have an original run. But nobody, I don't think, is going around thinking that second, like some ignorant people, and this is a problem that I have, like speculators,
right,
people who think that just because the number one's on a cover means that it's important. Um, most people think that Spider-Man number one, Amazing Spider-Man number one, first appearance of Spider-Man. No, that's Amazing 15. Like Amazing
right.
Fantasy 15 is the first appearance of Spider-Man. Detective
And also
27 is the
the
first
first
appearance
appearance
of
of
Spider-Man.
Wolverine as well too.
Yeah. No, the
And then
first
of
appearance of
course the
Wolverine
Wolverine,
is Hulk 183,
yeah,
right?
100, yeah, Hulk 180. I think 181.
181. Okay.
Yeah,
But
which I have a reprint of that they just
Right.
reprinted this past year, and I wouldn't have gotten a chance to read that without them doing that. Like getting an original print of that's like $400 or $500.
Here's the thing. I think that you both have points, like serious points, but I think we're dancing around the real problem sort of unintentionally. It is absolutely true that there needs to be a mechanism for casual use or for added accessibility for people new to the medium to get access. That is true.
right.
However, we can also all agree that the corporate greed, the exploitation of reprint or collection or what have you, especially where they can think they can actually try to get you to buy a book from like 1974 for modern prices.
how often does that
Needs to
really
stop.
happen, though? Because honestly, most reprints from Marvel and DC are coming out under the $1 or $2 price tag.
They haven't
Yeah, that's
found
true.
they haven't found the model yet. They're touching
I-
around about it because they want to do what happens over in the video game market. Unless you're buying from some specialty place like Good Old Games, right?
Now,
They want to open their old library and they want to resell you a game from 1992 for $20 today. And it's like that's crazy pants.
Well, here's where I'll give the point to you, and I think that this is actually the real problem that we're talking about, and that's the digital market. At no point should a digital comic cost as much ever. The work's
Yeah,
already been
absolutely. I
done,
agree
the
with
money's
that.
already been made. So the
So-
fact
Right.
that a digital
hold on,
comic
let me jump in here.
okay,
Hold on.
all right.
So the pricing of these reprints, I just ran over to my shelf real quick. So the reprint of Hulk 181 that I bought last summer,
Yeah.
is $3.
Okay.
I was fine paying that versus 400 because I've been wanting to read that book. One, because I love 70s comic books because the dialogue is just ridiculously cheesy. But
Right.
I'm fine paying that $3. It's not a $7.99 book like Marvel and DC are trying to charge now.
Wait,
And that's
yeah.
totally fine.
Jesus Christ! Did they actually jump past $5? Am I
Oh,
that
yeah.
out of the loop?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
they
Oh, yeah,
they,
man.
they lost the line.
$5 for a comic book. Yep.
$5's the starting price.
Yeah, if you get something that's like a double sized issue, that's like $8-10 now.
See,
Yep.
this is the problem. This is the thing that drives me right up the wall. This is the part that makes me lose my shit. Is I'm the lowest common denominator purchaser. You guys have collections, you got boxes, and you got legacy, and I respect it. But I'm the poor bitch who
I'm
can't
poor
afford
too.
the
I
fancy
put all my
things.
money into comic books that aren't worth anything.
Hey, you know what? Me too, man. I'm poor too.
All of my collecteds were given to me by a friend in Denmark who had more money than sense. Okay, I am super poor. So if I walk to the newsstand and I spend
Poverty,
a
my
couple of
superpower.
bucks, and spend a couple of bucks on a book, right? It's not a lot. It's not the infinite money, but it's regular income from an invested person. I will always spend that couple of bucks in my pocket for a comic book, but it's got to be in my price range. If you keep pushing it up and saying, no, you got to pay $7, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stop spending, and you're going to lose money.
Well, and here's
No,
the thing, like, and
And
just to
I
make
agree with that.
well, just to make the point one step further, what we were talking about earlier, with Hulk 181, right? First appearance of Wolverine. You could have gotten that book for $3 as a reprint, or you could have spent $60 on a compendium that contained it, right? With
Right.
another 100 issues that you
Right.
gave no fucks about reading and had no color.
Yeah.
Or you could have spent $100 on a hardback collector's edition that included the best of Hulk books. But that $3 entry point gave you the opportunity to buy the book you wanted to read without having to spend more than $3. Now,
Right, or getting shit reprinted in a collection of stuff I already have or whatever the fuck.
you know, the True Believer storylines introduces characters, not storyline, but the True Believers print run introduces characters and concepts to people who have never heard of them in a way that's accessible for $1 a book.
Yeah.
The same thing with the DC Legends series. You got like the Dark Knight Returns, the Death of Superman, all those. But even though the Death of Superman's only $6 in the back, I know people that paid $50 a copy for that shit when it came out. It was just so bad. But no, I don't think that reprints are a problem unless you have that collector mindset and you think that. And because, and let me justify my point. And this will make a lot of sense if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I play Magic the Gathering casually,
Here
and there's
we go.
something in Magic the Gathering called the Reserved List. And the Reserved List is a group of cards where they promise never to reprint. So you have cardboard squares that exist in the world that sell for $1 million now because of their rarity. And the stock that is printed on and the ink that's used is worth no more than the 10-cent throwaway cards that you'll buy today that just come fresh out of the pack. Okay? I think that
Right.
that is exploitation. Where you have
It
no
is.
opportunity to have access to that resource in a hobby. You have no way without groveling and spending your life savings to access something. Like if they have Dark
Okay,
Knight Returns locked behind a paywall, I think that would be criminally chargeable.
Well, see, let's use that classroom example applicably for my point though. What I was getting at is right next to me right now in a chest of drawers, 5 chests high, right, is 3 drawers full of Magic cards.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
Now I didn't buy them all at once. They're not all the same set. I am so far behind or out of legality that I could never go to a tournament. Not that I'd ever want to.
Right.
I just like Magic cards and I like to play with my friends sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have a ball.
Right.
Right. For me, this collection is more meaningful than any officialdom that says, no, these are the cards you need to buy. Right.
Well,
And
and
if they were to ever look at me and be like, well, you can't even play those cards formally because no real collector would have those cards. Look at them. They're all used. Fuck that guy.
well, it's not about used. It's about rarity. Like there's a format called Vintage, and they play cards like Black Lotus, Mox Opal, stuff like that are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're reserved lists, so there might be 100 copies of one of them left in the world. That's just an inaccessibility to the format that's behind a paywall.
Right, and every couple of years when I start playing for a bit, a friend of mine looks at me and says, holy shit, that's a dark ritual, why don't you sell that? And the answer is, it's because it's my dark ritual.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
No, yeah.
And that's the thing, is that if we apply that back to comics, for some people, it's just you love the book. And you want access to the book, and anything that forces that book out of your hands, be it they're reserving it and they're making it harder to get, or they've reprinted it to the point of worthlessness. Both are really kind of shit.
Well, here's the thing, though. They never reprint anything in comic books to worthlessness because of the second and third printing model where they denote second and third printings. I mean, I watch these stupid Facebook videos that are highlights of Pawn Stars, and one of the more recent ones that I've seen was somebody bringing in a Ninja Turtles #1 original signed by Eastman. Okay, this thing was worth a couple $100,000. Now I can go pick up a reprint of Turtles #1 for like $2. I can still read Turtles #1 without having to shell out $100,000. Now, if I want to spin the, go ahead.
If we listen to some of our peers on the internet, Church, the industry's going to implode. Maybe those second and third printings will actually be worth something because there won't be any more comic books.
That's true.
That's a good point.
That's true.
That's a good point.
You know, some like my ROM Space Knight might shoot up in value because people don't know it exists, and there's no way to get reprints of it because nobody's printing comics anymore in 50 years.
Well, I guess what I was trying to get at is not so much the fact of exploiting the prices. It was just the fun of hunting down books that were hard to find. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. It took me almost 5 years to collect all of the Miracle Man run.
Yeah.
From Alan Moore and Eclipse Comics, not the Marvel reprints. I'm talking the Eclipse original comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to every fucking.
Brought up one more time this show.
What is it?
What's that?
I said, I swear to God, if Alan Moore gets brought up one more time this show.
We all know Watchmen was fantastic, okay?
Full disclosure, I'm a huge Alan Moore fan. So if I'm ever on this show again, then you're gonna hear a lot about Alan Moore.
Hey, Ayrton, who wrote V for Vendetta again?
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Dude, it was the Wachowski. It was the Wachowski brothers, bro. That's what
go ahead, Rune Knight. Sorry.
You know, there are some people that believe that. Fucking plebs. But Ayrton, in the same way that we negotiated your problem to be the lack of fun in storytelling in comics, do you guys think we could perhaps negotiate that Julius's point is the lack of fun or the predatory nature of collecting?
I think that the lack of back issues is the bigger problem at this point. The lack of the back issue market, the internet.
I'm just saying the argument could be made that like the speculators and other forces and market forces and corporate forces are taking the fun out of collecting itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that for sure. Because I was more talking about the fun of hunting down the hard to find books and going to every comic shop you can to find the book you're looking for.
I think the bigger problem with that, with collecting and hunting down back issues now is the lack of comic stores. Because you'll ask Ayrton, I am a big proponent of every time I go to a new area, hunting down a comic book shop. They've just become so rare, and the idea of digging through a long box for back issues, stores don't negotiate shelf space for back issues anymore. They're more opting to keep these ever-flowing collectible card games that cycle in and out of the market, and Cards Against Humanity, and Monster Energy drinks, and Lay's potato chips, and Pop Funkos, and all that shit on their shelves. Because there's no money in collecting comics anymore, because all of the serious collectors have moved to online retailing. Like, Mile High Comics was the beginning of the end for the...
And thank you, Church. You've given me my problem, so now I have a problem for this week. Yay!
God damn it! I can't get off the air yet! Go ahead, Rune Knight.
We still have 40 minutes.
All right, this is a good one. We all love local comic shop. LCSs are great.
Yep.
We all endorse brick and mortar where we can. But I want to tell a tale very quickly about where I live in Lacey, Washington. In Washington State. Okay? Oh no, No, see, this is the fun part. This is where Church gets to rub himself in baby oil and feel strong because I will name.
I've been doing that the whole
names.
show.
I will name names.
It was
So-
Vaseline.
In my area, there's a place called Olympia Comics and Cards, run by a woman named Gabby, who is a substitute teacher.
She's probably a fucking
Okay.
angel too, isn't she? Like she's the sweetest
No,
person you've
she's
ever
a
met.
cunt.
God damn it! 0 for 1.
Here's the thing.
Well, real quick, smash or
Yep.
pass.
Oh God, hard pass.
Oh man!
So
All right.
here's the thing. When I was the carpet goblin, there was another comic shop called Who's, and they didn't survive.
You were a
Gabby's did,
lesbian?
and Gabby started. No, I was a child. See, before you're an adult, you're a child. I know that you're a building, and this is hard. But, sometimes buildings start as small boxes before they come full size. It happens.
We start as boards and we're rock hard.
Yeah, right. So, but no, the thing is, that I remember when Gabby's was a hole in the wall in the mall.
I remember
Okay.
when Gabby was a hole in the wall too.
So she ain't.
Zing.
Seriously, she ain't nothing but nothing. All right, she's just the one who survived, and the reason she was able to survive the economic turns from the '90s to now is because she turned her store into a big box.
Mhm.
Right, role-playing games and card games and all, and Magic the Gathering, Friday Night Magic Space is her bread and butter. Comics is a sidelight in what used to be a comic store.
Right? Yeah, that's everywhere
Okay.
now.
Well, you could almost respect that, but here's the thing. She is part of a cabal, and she forces everyone to be in this cabal. And it is legal because they informally decided to do it themselves. We swear, it's not a trust. We're not doing a monopoly, honest. Right?
Elaborate
So,
what you're talking about. Like I don't understand.
I'm
what you're
going
saying.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
elaborate.
Well,
So
do
there's
it.
a comic place downtown called the Danger Room. They agreed that
Yes.
they'll do all of the core comics and all the indie stuff.
Okay.
Right? There's a place in the mall now, run by a friend of mine named Tim Alexander, called Night Games. They do games and they offer electronic games time. There
Okay.
was a place called Game Trolls. They failed because they wouldn't play ball, because all the other businesses colluded to push them out of the marketplace and get them into a bad location. And Gabby's gets to set the prices, the positionality, and the way things work because she's a big box who can outsell all of them.
Yeah. That's just
Okay?
capitalism.
Now, here's the
Like
thing.
I
But here's the
get
thing.
it. It's awful. But
Here's why I bring it up. Okay? Her husband works there. He's a piece of shit.
okay.
Okay? They cycle in fresh young talent who need like summer jobs, treat them like garbage, and dump them when they complain.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? She
Yeah.
actively
Retail.
exploits her base all the time. The people who come in. I go in there every couple of like once a year, and I will spend upwards of $100 to $200, and I get treated like shit. And I've gone there since I was 15.
Yeah, but that's chump change in
Okay.
today's market. Like that's the problem. And I'm not saying that
but
it's
here's-
acceptable to treat people like shit for that. But the thing is, like, you can't expect customers.
But here's what I'm getting at, though. We were sold as a community a false bill of goods that your LCS is like Cheers or like your hole in the wall or your hideaway or your secret base where
Yeah.
everyone will accept you because you're a comic guy and they're comic guys and this is a comics friendly environment.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
that's
gone.
Everybody
fucking
knows
lie.
your name.
That is a lie from the highest order.
Yeah,
Because what
that
they want
shit's
is
gone
your
now.
money and you to get the fuck out.
Mhm.
Okay, and we need, and I feel it is a big problem in comics that they are still selling that narrative to children to exploit them. When
Well, yeah.
we're talking about saving the industry, and you're talking about how you would like to see more comic shops, and that's certainly true. I would also like to see more comic shops that actually want my business.
Well, here's the thing. They don't
Well-
want your business unless they can sell you into joining their Pokemon or Magic League and continuously sell you product week after week. Like that's the
Well,
grift now. That's this comic store grift. Let me finish real quick. With these
I
card
got a counterpoint.
with these comic stores now, and I say that in air quotes because there are very few real comic stores left. Like I said earlier, their grift is to pull these young kids in and keep them hooked on card games, starting with Pokemon, moving up to Magic the Gathering, and making them spend hundreds of dollars month after month. Comics they literally lose these shops money. So the people that still come in and buy them are honestly seen as a detriment to these stores. And it's shit. It's terrible. It shouldn't be that way, but let's be honest, that's where it is. So go ahead, Eric.
So, and I'll freely admit this might be an outlier. It might be one good thing about where I live in Michigan because everything else sucks. But the comic store that I go to, not much recently, but it's a chain. They've been around forever. I think there's like 4 of them left, and the particular one I go to, as Church said, there's about 4 like racks of new comics, a bunch of trades and manga, and the whole rest of the store is all the collectible pop culture shit. But when I was going in there, every single week for a long time there, the one dude, like the manager of that location, he was cool. He knew who I was. The girl that worked behind the counter, most of the time when I was there, she was always cool. We'd always chat a bit. So I don't think it's completely lost. I think that might be a little bit of like a regional sort of thing. I know the guy who owns this company, from what I understand from talking to people, is imagine Church owning a comic book store chain. That's kind of what this guy's like, from what I understand.
Oh, so
That'd
like
be
brawls and
amazing.
chains and like street fighting outside. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Church holding a comic book store, that'd be something.
But so I mean, it could be regional. I mean, you are out on the West Coast, which kind of sucks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the West Coast is kind of a hellhole.
It is.
I mean,
so
is Metro Detroit.
Of course, now I know what I want for Christmas. Papa Church, I want you to invest and make a comic shop and call it the Temple. So we have to go to the Temple to meet
no,
the church.
it would literally be the Cathedral of Comics.
I can just see. I can just see how you've like made comic cover stained glass windows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the iconic books, the McFarlane Spider-Man #1, the Days of Future Past #1.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Secret Wars
nice.
#8.
Secret
Come
Wars
on,
number.
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars number 6 or 7, I think, had the best. Whichever one Hulk was holding the mountain up with. That's the cover from Secret Wars.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
but yeah, so I think your problem might be a little bit regional. Is all I'm saying.
It might be regional, but I think the argument could also be made that as the industry downturns, some of it, like some of the struggle, is not so much based only in the companies are fucking up, which they absolutely are, but is also that I think our LCSs take us for granted. It's not necessarily the symbiotic relationship it should be, because they honestly thought for a while there, and they might still think it depending on where you are, that there will always be more suckers to buy more useless swag.
and there will be. That's kind of a given, unfortunately. That's
a given. That's always going to happen.
The thing is,
60% of the store is pop culture merch.
The thing is, if you're smart, you don't look at your sucker and call him a sucker. You call him your friend.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, no, I understand.
I'll call him a customer.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to brick and mortar stores, like, I'm not familiar with your situation. I've been lucky enough to be able to go to the same store for 30 years. The problem is that this year they finally pulled the plug on comic books. They cut their losses and were like, we're just not going to deal with Diamond because Diamond fucked us during COVID. And I respected that decision, but here's the problem, is that the comic industry had already fucked itself into this shithole, because a lot of people are looking at it going, why am I buying these books to sit on my shelf and to throw in a long box in the back for nobody to ever buy? How many copies of Captain Marvel #1 am I going to put in my back room before I just pull the plug on that? So the comic industry kind of did this to itself with anybody that has any real business sense, because they were already prepared to not make money on comics, and then they realized that they weren't prepared to not or to lose money on comics.
I mean,
Right.
I
It
mean,
no
by
longer
that-
is worth being a lost leader in my area. So they just a 30-year comic store just pulled the plug on the thing that started their business.
Well,
Well, I
like
mean-
the store I go to, so like that stupid AOC comic book.
Yeah.
Like, I think when it came out, they had 3 on the rack.
They
Last
still
time I
had
was
2
there,
of them when you went.
They still had 2 of them. Exactly. But
I was able to
So-
grab that, the John McCain, and the Obama book in one fell swoop for like $6.
So, but you know, that being said, that Sonata storyline from Image that
Mhm.
came out last year that we read through,
Yeah.
there were a couple of times they didn't order enough, and I was able to be like, hey, you know, is it possible? Can I get one of these, you know, in with your shipment next week? And they were like, yeah, hold on, let me check. They, you know, went on their account or whatever. They're like, yeah, it'll be here. It'll be here next week with our shipment. I was like, sweet. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's a second printing. I just want to keep reading it. So
Right.
I mean,
And it probably wasn't even a second
You know-
printing because that was an indie book.
I think at least one issue is a second printing, but anyways, the point is, if a comic book is going to survive, or a comic book store is going to survive in today's comic book industry, like the retail kind of atmosphere we're in at the moment, like that's the kind of shit they have to do.
Yeah.
like the dumb stuff that you know isn't gonna sell, but you kind of need to buy it, you know, to kind of keep up face, like the AOC book. Like you buy like a couple of them, and someone's gonna buy it as a goof. They had Trump Space Force, like when it came out in there, and they had a big stack of them. There were, I don't know, maybe like 7 to 10, and I think that last time I was there at the same time there was one left. So whoever's in charge of ordering that stuff, like they clearly know what they're doing, from what I can tell.
Well, that's at your shop,
And that's gonna be the key. That's
Yeah.
gonna be the key for any comic book store these days to survive, which is they have to know what their customer base like, not just Marvel or DC, but in terms of like genre or type of style of a story. So they like, you know, their
Right.
customer base is mainly superheroes, and okay, you know what, I need to order a few more of these indie books that have superhero genres in them, so that
Yeah.
way it's something fresh, it's something new, and I don't have to order, you know, fucking 2,000 or 3,000, you know, copies. I could just order a few, and then if it sells out, I could call up the guy and go, hey, do you have any more, you know, to sell in my shop, because it's selling pretty good. And I think that's
Right.
going to have to be the key for the future for the
And-
comic book stores.
Well, I don't think there is a future. Like, and this is a completely different discussion for later.
Well, that's if they decide to want to survive in the post-COVID world. You know, if they want to keep, you know, open.
COVID has
I
nothing to
guess, is
do
what I'm
with
trying
it.
to say.
I don't think there is any survivability for a comic shop, simply because of the online market. It's just entirely too easy to spend a couple of dollars and, you know, read subscription service books. And I think if Marvel and DC are going to, because honestly, everything that happens in comic book cruxes off of Marvel and DC. Say what you will.
No, you're right.
They're
I don't
you
disagree
know,
with that.
you know, Image and Dark Horse and IDW, all of these companies have clout, but if Marvel and DC stop selling comics, comic books aren't going to stay open. Stores aren't going to stay open. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
I agree with that.
You know, if you don't have a Batman book to put on the shelf, then why keep the door? But the thing is, I don't think that AT&T and Disney are interested in printing comic books. I think they're interested in making merchandise with logos on it.
Yep. No, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. That's for sure.
And if that actually comes to pass, and that's the future we have to look forward to, all comic book sales are going to be online, and Comicsgate and the indie comics market has thrived on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. It's going to be the future of books. People like Doug TenNapel, like Ethan Van Sciver, Mike Miller, John Malin. Think what you will of these guys, but they are the future of the industry. Don Chen finally dipping his toes into it. I honestly, I take 100% of the credit, me and Ayrton, of bullying Don Chen, getting into indie comics here on our show because we lauded the idea of just doing it yourself with crowdfunding, and we got him in the swing of being on live streams and marketing again on Twitter, and he's killing it. Look up X Farce, but that's not the book we're sponsoring this episode. Check the description down below to check out the Ghetto Dragon. Not to be confused with the Last Dragon, although it might be. But yeah, Parody Press, Don Chen. There's a lot going on there, and X Farce is
the most wholesome man in comic books.
the most wholesome man. Doesn't even swear. He's like the Will Smith of comic books. He's that good. He doesn't have to cuss in his books to sell copies. But no, I agree. All of these are big problems. Not as big as cinematic universes, of course. All of these are big problems. So before we get into the post show here, I'm sure Ayrton did. All right. Well,
I'm cool with it.
Let's go around the horn here. My problem with cinematic universes, Ayrton. Your problem was too serious comic books.
Too serious. Brackets, lack of Skateman.
There's not enough characters for that. But you can comment on the poll.
I will.
Rune Knight, what was your problem? Or wait, no. Julius, you went before Rune Knight anyway. Julius, what was your?
I think my problem was the collectors, the fun of collecting rare books or books that were hard to find, and the reprints and second and third prints and stuff like that.
So
the disappearance of long boxes.
I was going
to disappearance of long boxes. I'll never sell my Miracle Man comic books. I'm always going to keep them forever because it took me so long to collect them. It was fun for me to travel, to LA, to San Diego, because I'm from Southern California, to all these places around where I live at, just to find these issues and cough up $10 to $20 per issue, but I didn't care because I wanted to collect the whole thing. I wanted to own the whole thing, and
even though
I was lucky. I was lucky enough actually to be able to collect the entire thing when a comic book store closed down. I forget in which state, and he was selling the whole collection, the whole thing, from issue 1 to the end of Alan Moore's run, for $200. The whole thing. And I was like, you have issue 15, because that's what I'm looking for. That's the one that I want. And he was like, yeah, I have issue 15 here. And said, so let me just get this straight. So it's 1 through 16, I believe, and you only want $200 for it. Yes, just that's all I want. I was like, so 1 through 16. He said, yes, I have 1 through 16, and I have it for $200. Do you want it? I said, yes, I'll take it. And
see, that was
when I got the
comics in the mail. That was the wrong. That was the wrong statement. No, it was the wrong statement. What you do is you say, so you'll take 180, right?
I should have done that. Damn it!
You should have offered him a case of White Claw and a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, I should have. Damn, but no, you know what? It was worth it because it was like, you know what? I'll take double issues. I don't care because at that point I already had, I think, 1 through 10, and I was missing the last of them. So I was like, you know what? I'll take it. And so I took it, and I have it now, and it's my prized possession, and I'll never sell it. It's mine. That's my prized possession. But the rest of the books that I have, there are a few collectibles, but there's some that I won't sell, but there's others that I will sell. But I'm proud of my collection. I'm very happy with what I got.
Since we're working down our way of tropes, I guess I can.
Rune Knight is back.
Rune Knight's problem was comic store cabals. I've already decided that for him.
Right.
But But well, I've got to have something that fits in the Twitter poll. So 25 characters
Yeah,
isn't a lot.
And sounds catchy.
Solid.
It's gonna win because it's alliterative, but I got to go through all the tropes, and
Nah,
the only
shut
one
up.
that I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that I went across 5 states and several stores to complete my run of ROM Space Knight. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
I was able
dedication,
to.
my friend.
I was able.
Every time you say the words "Rom Space Knight," you make me depressed. Why do you do that?
That's just because you don't have good taste. You're the exception of having
it's the
good
other way
taste on
around,
this
because
show.
my father's a fucking idiot.
Oh, he got rid of your ROM Space Knight? I probably am the one that bought it.
My old man, my old man had a collection of comics when I was a kid. Always said it was going to be my inheritance, and I was like, yeah. He had Secret Wars, the whole thing. Okay, and
Yeah,
he
that's
had
less than
ROM Space
$1,000.
Knight. He had ROM Space Knight #1,
Yeah, that's less than $70.
and he sold them to Who's Comics and Cards. You know that place that failed.
Yeah, they probably gave him.
$20.
Yeah, I was about
For
to say.
$20 worth of Star Trek: The Next Generation trading game cards, because he thought it would get him the rare he needed, which he didn't fucking even get.
That's right.
Oh, jeez.
That's right.
And I have never forgiven him. He's dead now, and I don't forgive him.
my dad sold his Spawn collection. He had Spawn 1 to 100. He had Spawn 1 to 100
Oh,
from the original Spawn to the Redeemer Spawn he had, and he sold that shit for like $50 to make rent one week.
oh
If
man.
that's make rent, that almost makes sense.
Yeah.
He didn't get enough to finish making rent. He got part of rent and had to continue to hustle. That's the problem.
I mean,
But,
you gotta decide: do you love that comic, or do you love sucking that dick?
I mean, if it came down to me getting rid of my my Alex Ross autographs and my Secret Wars box and my Blackest
Dude,
Night
you got Alex
run.
Ross autograph?
Yeah, man, I got Marvels and issue 0 of Kingdom Come autographed by Alex Ross.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I've got like $1,000 worth of Alex Ross autographs.
Oh man, that is dope. Props for that one. That's dope.
But again, my pinnacle is my run on ROM Space Knight and my complete collection of Age of Apocalypse. Like those are the things that make me the happiest. Oh, and my run on Absolute Carnage. You know,
I just want to point out. Hold on, I do have an original print of the first issue of Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters that I just need to get to Don Chin to get signed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, just DM him. Like, just get his PO box or whatever, and he'll probably sign it and mail it back.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Just send him some stamps. He'll do it for you. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Oh no, I'll send it in a package with a return package inside of it. I'll do all the legwork.
But anyway, so those are our problems. Check out twitter.com/church failure for the poll. It'll be up for 6 days and 18 hours.
Yeah.
Vote on the biggest problem in the multiverse, and you're wrong if you don't cinematic universes. That's the show. Everybody, any last words?
I call shenanigans. Everyone go around and plug their shit.
That's right. Plug Ghetto Dragon.
Sign up to the pre-launch of the Ghetto Dragon.
Ghetto Dragon. Bruce
Sign
Leroy.
up to the pre-launch for the Ghetto Dragon. It'll launch in mid-October, hopefully, and I'm still going to fork out a few kinks here and there for the campaign. So if he's pre-launch, you'll get your book early before anyone else. So sign up to the Ghetto Dragon, where you're going to get a bunch of action, drama, and some tragedy. So sign up today. Woo!
Hell yeah!
And some amazing artwork. Amazing.
And some amazing artwork by Alan Fletcher.
Amazing. Rune Knight, you got anything? Rune Knight is dead. We killed him.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
I have something. Hold on. I have something to plug this week.
What, your ass?
So, yes, but that's later.
Okay.
No. look out. I have a new show coming here soon in the
Wait.
next couple of weeks once I get some technical kinks figured out
Wait.
over on my channel.
We haven't discussed this. I don't know if I'm going to have to sue you for impropriety.
We haven't discussed
creative differences incoming.
You can hear about it more over on the after party over on my channel, Ayrton McCartney on YouTube, and look for my new show coming soon. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, with co-host Church Failure.
I'll post the link to the StreamYard's call for you guys in the live show chat here in the Discord. I'll see you guys over there.
All right, have a good one, everybody.
Wait, before you go, do you have a Twitter account?
Everything's in the description of this video.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll just go through there.
Show.
Yeah,
cool.
All right, and it's linked in the it's linked in everything you've retweeted for this show.
Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. No, I'll just do that. I'll go through there.
All right.
I'm already a little drunk, guys, so just want FYI.
Oh, Ayrton McCartney, that autograph will cost you $180, buddy. Anyway, good night, everybody. Get us the fuck out of here, Ayrton.
All right, there's the call, guys.
Get us out of here. Ayrton left already? He's supposed to say good night, everybody. He's fucking fired.